Aye. Approve the agenda?
So moved. Second.
In favor? Aye. Any questions on the consent items? Question on Dave Milton's, kind of sad to see that. Yep. Everything okay?
I think so, John. You can talk more to him. He reached out a little bit.
Yeah, no, that's his son. He kind of knew going into the season that this was going to be his last year. I think he's ready to do some family things in the summer. You know, he's had how many years of baseball?
28, he said.
28 years where he really hasn't had a summer. So I think he's ready to kind of move on, and he knows the team is in good. I mean, they a lot of good players coming up.
Is Wyatt going up, or have we?
I don't think it's been posted yet.
So-
Waiting for the new AD to come on board.
It was hard for him, but I think he said it was time. So.
Sad to see that.
Switch feet, maybe end after Peyton.
Unbelievable career.
Yep. Yeah. Yep.
Not wins and losses, but just what he did with kids.
Yep, without a doubt.
More than that, probably.
Is on the calendar, oh, forget it. No. On the calendar, on Wednesday it was camps. Is that just a typo? Or what type of camps? I saw several camps in there. Is that
Like the junior football camp, that one that's on Wednesday,
Okay.
4 to
All right.
6,
Okay.
4 to 5:30.
Got it.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Mr. Growdy, can you fill us in on the communication, what all that stuff is for security cameras and anything, what? Just kind of fill us in, give us
Absolutely.
a little more detail on
Yeah,
that.
and so what's going on is, first of all, West has no security cameras as of right now. So we're putting in cameras in all the hallways. So good coverage. We're not talking about anything that's over the top. We're not, this is more just general coverage of what's going on, so we can see. And then we have 2 cameras going in that gym. And so that's also for just general coverage, but also we have a lot of community events that happen in there, and sometimes we need, like, things happen and it's like phantom things, we need to know what's going on. Also at West, we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 outside cameras. Generally there's 2 that are over on the south side that are where the buses park. And that playground that's outside the pre-K, and then there's 2 in the back that cover both the west and the northwest side, and those will be multi-sensor cameras that are kind of looking over the playground area, and then 1 just off of Corey's office at that entrance that will get where the drop-off is and entrance into the building. If we ever if we look at redoing the parking lot, it might not be a bad idea. There's no good way to get to the parking lot to kind of see the parking lot from the building, just because of all the trees. And the only good way to get that right now is a little pricey. We need to get out to the poles. Dr. Martin and I had a discussion about that. At some point, we might redo the parking lot, and if we do that, maybe that'd be a time to run out fiber out there so that we can, because the cameras are powered through PoE, so if we have a fiber line running out there, it's really easy to just put a camera on there.
Not when we redo the parking lot, but when we add on.
Right, when we add on, or yeah. So, and same thing at the high school, if we add on to the parking lot here, we definitely want to run lines out there, because they're just that far away, we want to make sure. At the high school, it's really easy. We're looking at 2 right now, and it's literally replacing the 2 one that is broken, which is this one right above us. Right at this corner. So we have no coverage on the back end of this building except for this camera over here. It kind of gets this parking lot, but there's no coverage outside of here or this side of the building. And then the camera that was installed over by the baseball field on the southeast corner is a PZT camera, which is, unless you have an active security guard looking at it, moving it around to see what's going on, a PZT is not really functional. So we're going to replace that with a multi-sensor, so it's looking at 4 different spots. So we'll get coverage of the football field, ticket stand, parking lot, and the activity store. And we'll have coverage the whole time.
When it hits the playgrounds at West,
Yes.
is it would you be able to see the south entrance, the sidewalk entrance that comes from West Side Drive? You know?
From the playground side?
Yeah.
No. I looked at that, trying to get a camera that would do that. The problem is trees.
Yeah.
And so what I would like to explore later on, if we're concerned about car traffic and coming through there, we're going to need to get a camera on a light pole. Because just from the building, the only real true corner, even the corner, because the trees have grown up so high, the gym corner, like the northeast corner of that gym corner, has trees all the way up the top. And we can't, and the music corner has trees. There's like 4 trees right in front of there. So there's no way to really get a good shot from the building. The only corner that's helpful from Corey's, that corner where I'm putting it, we might get a through the leaves shot, maybe a winter shot, but it's not a really good corner from the building that I can really get a lot of the parking lot. I'll get as much as I can from his corner.
I think what James is talking about is the opposite side of the building, so out that 4th grade hallway to the south.
Oh, yes.
That sidewalk.
You mean to the north there?
South.
No, it's south of the building goes back to, there's a sidewalk that goes back to.
Oh yeah, we'll get that. I apologize. Yeah, on the other side of the building.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get that. Absolutely. Yeah. And then the other ones are John and I walked his building. There's just, because of all the different add-ons over the years, there's a lot of pockets and holes. And so we're going to counter that with a couple of different styles of cameras, especially at like intersections where there's 4 ways. Instead of putting, 4-way camera in, we're actually going to put a 360 camera right at the intersection. And so we're playing a little bit of games where we're taking a camera out and we're being able to use that somewhere else, but we're putting in a 360. And then in a couple different hallways that some kids will get lost. We're having some 180s on those. So we're being creative. I think we'll have really good coverage at the middle school. But once again, middle school has no outside coverage. So we're looking for 4 cameras on the outside coverage, mostly for the activity doors, the front door, the northeast corner, kind of where the parking lot is, and then back off the southeast corner of the ag building, which will cover the parking lot, the door where the kids go in, and then one pointed kind of back towards where the bus drop off. And then Mr. Miller and I talked about a couple of cameras on the outside that are needed, and then his outdoor. So there's only a couple cameras going over there, but his outside where the playgrounds are, the drop-offs, and eventually I have one. Unfortunately, there was a little bit of a typo when we were doing the wiring, so at some point we'll have to come back with a wire because we want to have the bus drop off in front. But we won't be able to install that yet, but we want to buy the camera so it's ready to go.
Okay. So I guess my general question is, I mean, building administrator, what's your objective for cameras? What are you using it for? What's the purpose of the cameras? I mean, I have my own opinion on purpose cameras, but I'm just curious on what are you actually using them for today? And if we're talking about all these additional cameras, what are the new cameras going to be used for?
For me, it's to help prevent issues in the hallways. Student safety is a huge thing. When I first got here, we didn't have any cameras in the 712 building, so we have slowly tried to add cameras and get some different like high traffic areas where a safety of people in our building at night. We have a lot of people in the building at night using our gyms and facilities, and we'll walk in and the window will be broke. And without a camera, we can't really even go back to look at who possibly did it, or was it one of our kids, or different things like that. So student safety in the hallway is a big one. If an incident happens, or just kids know that there's cameras, we've had a lot of things that we aren't dealing with now that we dealt with 5 or 6 years ago.
Just because
Restrooms, one of the, like down by Scott's, those new restrooms by Gym 2, had like 4 or 5 incidents down there, and we didn't have a camera, and I couldn't see who was doing it, going in and out. So that's a coverage area that we definitely want to hit, and different things like that. So it has really helped, but we just don't have. We have coverage, but we don't have really good coverage.
do you have the appropriate systems or equipment then in the office to be able to?
Yeah, so
easily and effectively-
Amanda, she has a whole screen up of all our cameras. And it's been really nice because she'll come to me and say, hey, there's some kids out in the cafeteria and they're not where they're supposed to be. So it's been good for that too. But yeah, she's kind of monitoring all those, and they kind of keep wrapping around in different things. That's just for the middle school though, that's just for me.
The exact vision that we have, the server that we run, that we bought last year, it was bought before me, but it was installed, I helped install it. It can be viewed from anywhere. So the server it runs, and then anybody can tap into it.
So asset protection to deal with incidents and then to, have footage of what's going on and the potential for deterrence, right? So those are
Absolutely.
three of the primary.
Yeah, student safety, I mean, just continue to make our building safe and.
Yeah. You guys have any other
I
user
would
usage?
echo John. Yeah, it eliminates the he said, she said, and go right and who was in the bathroom at this time. There's, let's get to the story quicker, and it just helps with that. Operating a building that had them before and then to not, it's just a huge time saver. I know it's expensive, and I don't take it for granted, but just when we're adding Chromebook carts and different things, we don't want to operate with them under padlock and all the time. We want them to be accessible, and we're going to have to put some of those things in hallways and stuff too. So just like you said, asset protection, and we don't have the time to sit there and monitor them all day, but like when it comes time to when we need them and roll back the footage and whatever, it's just really, really helpful.
Anything else, Gordon?
I've never had cameras in a building, so I'm all for it.
So do you guys feel the path we're on is appropriate? I mean, are we spending money in the right places, or at least giving you the right type of controls or assets to be able to?
Absolutely. I mean, I know for the middle school, we're short on coverage just because as we've added cameras and things, kids know where the cameras are at. And we had an instance in a hallway where there was 5 feet behind the locker. It was kind of going out towards the ag building. And we had moved that camera for a purpose to get a better angle at the bathroom, just a little bit closer. Well, then there was incidents that happened past the camera, and now we're able to move them all back and get full coverage. So that's really what this is for, is to try and get us all covered with better, coverage and stuff. And Scott and I have worked 2, 3, 4 times just walking around the building and saying, is this good, is this good? And I really like the idea of the 360 camera, especially at our intersections, and that will help solve a lot of issues. But yeah, I do. I definitely think we're headed.
And I would add at the high school, the cameras in the parking lot are really important for student drivers and some fender benders that happen there, but also for night activities where fans from other towns are coming, and oftentimes that's where some of those problems can happen in the parking lot. So in my experience, that's been very useful in the parking lot as well.
How many are we going to have in the parking lot now?
At the high school, sir?
Yeah.
They won't increase, but we'll get better coverage with the one that we're putting instead of that PZT. The PZT is, it's not the best camera, and its motion sensor doesn't always go off. Like we had an incident of some officers arresting a student last year, and
Not one of ours.
not one of ours. It actually wasn't one of our students, which is nice. But all the other 2 cameras, the one on top of the school and the one out off the baseball field, both got it. But the closest camera didn't, which was the PCT, because its motion. I mean, we're talking the lights are going off and the motion sensors aren't going off. It's like what's going on? So that will give us much better coverage there.
Will the images be clear to help you?
Oh, all the images are clear now. That was
Okay.
they're crystal clear now. What's really nice are the new ones, which will save us, and this is why it's not in that proposal, which is nice. We're going to see how it goes. The newer cameras, they do really, really good compression, and so we hopefully should not have to expand our server storage, because they have what's called Zipstream, and Zipstream is even a better compression than even regular compressed. So.
Hopefully we might not have to.
Yeah.
Well, I know. Sorry, Keith. I feel like I come to you guys every time, but
Does that feel like? Sorry, you toss that one up there.
Okay, do I have any other questions or comments? Dave, you got your bill questions and all
Yeah.
that? Okay. All right. Have a motion to approve the consent items.
I move we approve the consent items.
Second.
All in favor? Public comments and communications.
You just have the information in there on lot 2 appeals, so just make sure you're aware of that too. Obviously significant ones, people are doing their tax assessment. Also, just type in, on our agenda too, just the timelines for renewal or filing board papers. The one thing, 50 signatures is what's required. Also, what will be different, because there are 2 years left in Diane's term, a person will have to designate which position, a 4-year or a 2-year, they will be seeking.
So,
Have any
we
calendars?
actually need to be in communication with one another. Otherwise,
Which one are you gonna go for my turn?
Yeah, I was gonna say, so, there better not be 2 2-year terms.
so every time somebody is going to appeal their property tax over $100,000, we're gonna get this?
We get notified, yeah. This is the
Like,
first
this
time
is-
you've started
this is the first time
I've
Huh,
ever seen.
First time I've ever seen it.
Yeah, first time
Yeah, I
I've
was
seen it.
really confused when I saw it at first. I was thinking, wait, hold on, what's this mean?
Yeah.
I should put mine in here. I wanna go down 100,000.
Think about your kids. All right. Anything else on the public comments? Administrative director reports. Seth?
Other than what I typed up there, it's just been a great couple days having our new teachers back at the high school. We have 2 new teachers at the high school. The rest of the staff comes back Monday, and then obviously the first day of school next Friday. Scott's helping me with a little bit of a new tradition. We're going to do a little bit of a kickoff assembly at the high school out on the football field the first day when students come back, and wrap that up with an all-school photograph, and we're going to use the drone for that. So he was out testing it today, and should be good to go. Excited to have the kids come back next week. So
Thank you.
So I'm looking at your room updates. How do you feel like we're sitting for space over there or here?
it's been a little bit of a challenge just the last couple of weeks trying to figure out what we're going to do with a couple things. I know one of the things I wrote there is our health classes are going to be moved to the green room. So Mr. Sinclair's really worked hard on that with our custodial staff to get that room set up, but it's going to be fine.
What is the green room?
Right
It's
beside.
a dressing room outside there.
Used for performances and whatnot. So we just kind of brainstormed what spaces and areas in the school are not used a lot throughout the day, and that was obviously one. So that should work out well. Also, like I wrote, the media center of the library is going to be used for more of a classroom, and we kind of set that up. So it really is nice up there, but we're kind of stretching. But we should be good to go this year, just being a little bit creative.
So outside of space, as you've kind of gotten yourself familiar with the building, any things that are jumping at you, as you have concerns, areas, things that we need to be proactively talking about?
I don't think so right now. I'm just trying to learn everybody's name.
But you can do that, but also keep in mind.
No, I nothing that really comes to mind right now.
Sounds good.
Is that $2.8 million house, is that the castle on the way to? Sorry, I've still got the assessments.
Yeah, isn't that the?
It's that castle that's for sale if you go to the Jester Park corner and then you turn left.
No, this is over.
Is
I
it?
know, there's a, yeah,
Because that's what they're selling that
yeah.
castle house for, 2.8.
That's our district now.
It says North Polk, or it says Polk City.
Address, it might be posted the address, but that's our district,
Okay.
yeah.
Echo a lot of what Seth said. It's been exciting to see the new staff, get back meeting with teacher leadership team and instructional coach, and just meeting with Ben, talking a lot about vision and goals and how we want to kick off the year, and you know, on what tone we want to set with teachers and students and the impact of back to school night. We have an incoming 6th grade parent meeting. We've changed that a little bit. We used to do that at the end of the year. Now we're trying to do it a little bit before school starts, before back to school night, that they have a little bit better lay of the middle school and can help their child transition also there. So yeah, just really excited, always excited for this time of year. Lastly, I just wanted to say how much, one of the things I really enjoy in the summer is just working with the custodial staff at the building. It's a time where we get to communicate a lot about what we're doing throughout the summer and how we want to do things in the building and what we're going to do, and they're just always extremely flexible. So I just want to put a shout out to, I've really enjoyed working with the custodial staff over the years. Appreciate their flexibility because at this time they're always asked to move this, do this, and short on time. So.
With the Alice training, what type of communication is going to go out? I'm assuming we're going to communicate something to the parents? I mean,
Yeah, that's something that we've been working on as a district and the staff. And before we would do any simulations and different things, but a lot of it's just going to be safety. Not just straight Alice strategies, techniques, and different things, but just being safe and being safe in your own environment and different things like that. But yeah, there'll be communication on that. But what we're in the process of is how do we get the learning to 450 kids and make it meaningful and not in 150 at a time per grade level and do a 20-minute assembly and really try to do it more throughout the year. So
great, thank you. Morgan?
It's just exciting to have most everybody back. Teachers have been working really hard. Echo what John said with the custodial staff. I was, if I'm being full transparency, a little nervous a couple weeks ago, but things are just really coming full circle with all the floors being done and things being put back into rooms. Things are looking really good. Spent a lot of time with our teacher leadership team, both together with the district leadership team at Louisiana Savings Bank. Was that earlier this week or was that last week?
Yeah, it was Monday.
Early Monday. Everything blends together. Sorry, but we're just putting a lot of plans in place, putting our schedules in place so that we're maximizing what we have to work with. So it's just a lot of great things.
On this, the PB, actually, I want to give you the Gold Star Award for spelling out all your acronyms for
I was
us.
gonna say the
Thank
same
you,
thing.
appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, I know that all of us can get pretty
No,
acronym heavy at times, so I just
No, you can't.
yeah.
Sometimes I try to jot them down and ask it later.
Education, but the whole security camera, how many acronyms did you just use?
Yeah. So the PBIS, what is that new or is that fairly new?
It's not new, but we've had we kind of brought it back a couple of years ago. It really needs to be a part of our full MTSS picture, multi-tier system of support. So we're focusing hard on academic supports, but that behavior piece is a huge part of that too.
Okay.
So in our collaboration meetings, we're going to use that PBIS data as well to be part of the picture.
Perfect, thank you. Corey, again, welcome.
Thanks. Great to be here. Sorry I missed the last one. We were on vacation. But I guess ultimately it's great to see our 4 new teachers as they've come. They're going to be amazing. I'm guessing we're the first elementary school in Central Iowa to hire 2 SEC teachers in one time. So one from Auburn and one from Missouri. So, but June has been a lifesaver as we try to redo our special education setting and room. She's been over every day figuring all that stuff out and making it work, and it's really coming together, and it's a lot of work because it was a storage room before, so there are still some things that we got to get done and we'll work through as we move classrooms and done that stuff to make space for our 5th section of kindergarten and just the growing number of students at West. Other than that, it's just getting to know people, learning names, so many names like Seth said, and then just trying to put some of those pieces in place that, like our schedule, the new drop off and pick up and all those kind of pieces. So trying to do all those things, been working from kind of a blank slate in some of those things. So it's exciting, but there's so much still to do. So
tell us about so how's the drop off going to work?
Drop off. So we kind of walked and I thought through everything and tried to think of all the issues because Dr. Mark posed the question to me. He goes, we back up traffic way deep out of the school and onto Park Boulevard. So we're going to use the whole front of the building. And so we're gonna have teachers up front, so all the way at the end by the gym. And so we'll cone off, like this is going to be where we get your students out of the car. So we will open doors. In my previous school, we open the doors for all the kids getting dropped off, get them out, so that way you control the traffic flow. So we will open the doors, they will go out, and then so they'll go out the far end. So we're actually using the entire stretch of parking lot. If a parent wants to walk their student into school, then they have to park their car, walk them up. And so then as we drop them off, the 3rd and 4th graders are going to walk around the back of the building and wait by their doors. And then if they're going to breakfast, they'll go in the main doors. And then we're going to put the kindergarten and through 2nd grade in the gym. They used to use the gym all the time, but there's just too many students, and so they were just running into problems. But so then we'll put those guys there until it's time to go. It's kind of and then the bus kids will be in the bus loop and they'll wait until it's time to
One
go.
of the issues last year, time, like what time you could drop off and what time school started. So like
I think the issue was they waited the last minute.
an 8:10 to 8:25, because I don't ever drop off. But
Well, if you're coming from like my direction, if you're coming from the west, I mean, you'll sit there sometimes at the Parker Boulevard intersection because people are waiting
Right.
to get into the parking lot, and if you drive by, you can see them, they like hang out by their car.
right.
You're like, dump them already and move on.
So what time can a child come in?
So they can start getting dropped off at 8, 8:10.
Okay.
But we'll start having people go outside towards 8, but I mean, they can start.
Breakfast is at 8, right?
Yeah. So they can get out of their car at 8. I mean, they can go to the doors. We'll have coverage at 8. It's just a long time. We
Yeah.
hope to get closer because it's just a long time to have a giant group of kids standing around. But
Definitely. So the 3rd and 4th graders that are dropped off at the front will, and again, you're talking using both entrances. So you'll pull in the one, curve all the way out, and then you're gonna exit their cars closer to the gym versus closer
Yep.
to the front door?
correct.
Okay, so there's queuing space now all the way there. And then 3rd and 4th graders will walk around to the back of the gym, or the back side of the building?
Yep.
On rain days, same plan?
We'll probably just let them in the gym and then go and stay in the hallways.
Okay.
There's just not a lot of great places to put all of those students. So, and then breakfast, we'll hold the breakfast kids. If you go eat, then you'll just stay in the lunchroom until it's time to go to classrooms. That way, we're not adding more kids to the other spots.
Do we have any thoughts on if 3rd and 4th go to the back, will that make 3rd and 4th parents start dropping off on the west side?
From what I've never experienced a drop off.
Right.
When I'm told some do that anyway to avoid
I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
Yeah, I would be fine with it. You're walking through and we'll still have adults out there, so I mean, you're still going to have eyes on kids as they come through. So, yeah, it'd probably be better. It's actually 2 ways to drop off would probably make everything flow better when you get down to it.
Has communication gone out yet to parents about the?
Tomorrow.
Okay,
Tomorrow. Then we'll put something up at back to school night too.
because I'm sure there'll be a lot of questions.
Yeah, have fun.
There'll be a lot of questions. But people will be, I think, just trying to take a different approach to it. They'll appreciate that.
Thank you, Corey.
You bet.
Miranda?
So Morgan got the golden star. I probably got the check because right after you said that, I scrolled down to mine and I was like, oh, there's one. So sorry about that. I'll get better. No, I would ditto what everybody else has said. We have 12 amazing, eager, excited educators coming into our system. We've been able to hang out with them in pockets of time. Tomorrow they'll come in and get an overview of Rubicon, our curriculum mapper tool that we use to upload our units. And we have some additional staff that have asked to sit in on that as well, so that's going to be great. But we just welcome them, and of course, we've had a lot of curriculum materials kind of come in and out, and just thank all of the custodial staff for their efforts at getting those in and out into the buildings, and thoroughly going through those to see if we have everything, what might be missing, what still needs to be ordered, some of those pieces. So it's kind of a busy time. But outside of that, do you guys have any questions?
So this meeting, curriculum network meetings,
Yeah.
So that's something that's new, that's not been doing that.
So I attended those last year. What's great about those meetings is that we gather with a lot of other curriculum directors and districts, and we also have some state individuals there to help explain the guidance so that we can take some of that back to the district. And so it's been a good learning for me, but also just to have time to talk with other people that do my position and how are you doing that and what does that look like in your system, to kind of hear some ideas as we bring that stuff back. So it's a really good day, morning of learning, and we just meet at in Johnston.
Sorry, I want to cut you off. The Amplify Science, how did that professional development go to the staff?
Yeah, it was really great. We had time to really dive into the tool, more specifically really look at some of the aspects within NGSS and start to think deeper about some of that, and they were able to bring some questions. So she really tried to personalize it to what our teachers were asking that maybe they still needed to just refresh on or kind of dive in deeper. One area was some of the grading and using that tool within that they hadn't really gotten before when they were piloting. So, but they're set up, ready to go, and then we have we have a program that talks to Infinite Campus, which is going to be important because they shared that with us that day, and Lynette has been setting that up with, in the building at middle school. And anytime a new person moves in, it talks to that program. I think it's called Clever, if I'm right, Clever. And anybody that moves in will automatically be uploaded instead of having to go upload ourselves. So it's supposed to work pretty slick in that regards.
Yeah, I'm just really happy with where the science staff is at. When they came in, I think they came in a little bit like at a level of instruction that they were giving where we were kind of ahead of that. They've really done a nice job of piloting the curriculum, and a lot of their questions were with the technology, with the Chromebooks, how's it going to work, how do I do this? So I think that's kind of their anxiety now, and not necessarily totally the curriculum side, just how's all that going to look and work, and some of that's on Mr. Grout, right?
I'm glad to hear it works with Infinite Campus.
Yes.
Yeah.
That
Any
was
program,
huge.
one of my biggest frustrations would be, when we get a new sort of program where I'm going to keep track of something here and keep data here.
I know.
It
Trying to get them to
doesn't
speak
talk
to
Infinite
each other.
Campus, so I have to do my work twice.
Right.
So
Yeah.
any programs you guys come across that you're interested in that already do that?
It's big. And then, so, one of the things we're going to do is let them go for a couple months and then reconvene
Yeah.
again with an Amplify rep and now really start. Now they'll have a good sense of how's the technology working and curriculum going together. So
We've had some other schools, knowing that our middle school's navigating it, interested. I'm being the goalie of saying let them get into it and stuff and see it. But other schools, once they hear some area schools, that they would like to go and see it in
that's how
action.
we left.
So that's kind of a cool thing too, to be able to collaborate with some other schools that eventually. But I'm trying to be a goalie right now of no, let them get into it. We want to have them, get a little more.
To wait a little bit.
And be able to speak to some of the things more in depth. So, but yeah, it was a great day.
And then going back to a former subject, our reading libraries, are we up to snuff on those now? Getting more materials in there? Morgan, Corey?
Yeah, I mean, we have, the orders aren't as extensive because we did some big work up front, but our reading interventionists and instructional coaches and retired teachers, Kim Andreessen still comes in and works with us on making sure that we're organized and we have the necessary books that teachers are requesting. So I'm very happy with how that's going.
Okay.
Well, and I would say
I haven't been asked, so I'm assuming it's all good.
I would say when I looked at the book rooms just from past schools that I've been at, even in Ames, it's when you come in, there's so many great texts there available. So very, very good.
Now the fact that our book room's in our mechanical closet, it's a different thing. So just a data point I thought I'd keep.
We'll mark that one down. MJ.
Ditto to everybody, what they've said already with the new teachers, but we started trainings yesterday with staff, and so they're back eager to go, and as you can see, meeting season will start here, so meetings are set up for the year, and we'll meet with each program and each school team, and I think we're set, so looking forward to it.
Your second bullet point, can you just speak a little bit about the learning and trainings that you're going to develop, just specifically what you think you're going to focus on this year?
Right, so yesterday we did the CPI training, and then next week we are doing the Meeting Magic.
So tell them what CPI is.
I'm sorry, Crisis Prevention Institute. We did that yesterday with paras and staff, and then next week on the 20th, we've got a 2-hour training with what a good meeting looks and sounds like, a good IEP meeting, how to set up good agendas, how to look at data with the parents, and how to just make sure that we're getting to the meat of what that meeting needs to look like. And then really referencing a book called OMG Meeting Magic. So that'll be another one that we have.
That's next month?
Next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday,
Yep.
okay. So PD time before school starts?
Yep. PK-12 teachers, pre-K-12 teachers, and I invited administrators as well. Because that's another thing too with administrators, that if we don't train administrators with the same concept and same ideas, that we need to have that piece in place. So we'll have some trainings this year with administrators during their Thursday morning meetings.
Okay, all right, thank you.
The at-risk counselor, is that the individual who's in the high school newsletter? Is that? We received that, I got that today, the high school, and then
Okay.
there was two new staff. I think one was a math teacher and the other was it at-risk counselor?
Yeah, so our other new addition is Mark Rixner, who academic support at risk, or halftime, I should say.
So not a counselor, more of a teacher, academic support teacher.
Okay,
Not counselor.
okay, all right.
So I'll meet with all the counselors on a regular basis again, and we'll work with kind of that early warning system on how to identify at-risk students, and then what are those next steps with the at-risk supports we have with them, so.
And he was halftime? No, we're right. All right.
Yeah.
Any other questions for me?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Supervisors. So, go ahead. On the AD though, he is starting to, your one update said you had to work with ADM. Is he starting September 1st?
That's our goal at this point, is September 1st. ADM's goal was that he would be done by the 31st of August, so 1st of September is our first date.
Okay.
They set some conditions that we need to get a couple things done before we can release them. So the board released them pending completion of these conditions.
And that's all because he was under contract?
Right,
Yeah.
correct,
All right.
right. So, and on the flip side, if he's done sooner, he can start sooner, too.
So we got a big event at the beginning of September that the AD is going to be in charge of with the RVTV, so how is that kind of?
We're still, Rob will be invited to part of that yet, too.
Yeah.
In transition.
Rob's kind of pulling double duty.
Rob's in
Right now, so.
yeah, and then right after that, we've had meetings on homecoming parade, too,
Okay.
over there, so those have started.
June.
Just kind of ditto on the custodians. They all been working hard and trying to get, things done and get things ready for the school and moving stuff out as the teachers, shift their rooms around and stuff like that. And the concrete work was done. I'm just still trying to grasp everything and figure out what all is going on, and so.
Kudos on the power washing in middle school. I could tell when
Yeah.
I
Oh,
came
yeah.
down the
Yeah.
street. You can
Yeah.
definitely tell.
It does look really good, so.
Was that the first time we've done that?
Exactly, so we had him come and wash the building last fall after construction. So I said, Randy, ask him if that stuff can be washed, could we?
Yeah.
So I said, sure, and then came back and, yeah, what a difference.
It made a huge difference.
Huge.
It looks like a rebuilding.
It does.
Yeah, that's right. I've been thinking that years ago. Yeah.
Mr. Reeves.
Really nice not to have to reopen a kitchen this year.
Start school without a kitchen?
Yeah. Other than that, I have no issues.
So you got to be on the panel, huh?
Yes, that was fun.
That's kind of neat.
Mr. Grogan?
I think I gave you a pretty updated list. We keep moving every day towards the goal line. We're getting close. I think that Jacob's over there working right now. Actually, I'll join him after the meeting. We've got all the Chromebooks unpacked and going into the carts. The carts are all put together and just getting the Chromebooks into, or for the middle school, all the student Chromebooks are getting into the right OUs, and so they just have to be enrolled in the system. So, and we should be hitting our goals. That there's a lot of stuff that already got that's got finished right now. Most of the wiring is done. They're going to be taken out, kind of picking up the rest of their trash and finishing up a couple things tomorrow. We got a couple one-offs that have to get through the punch list, just that missed, and put a couple of wires in the back room here for the new office. But other than that, we should be good to go. The ag room is just about done right now. That was the last thing, the ag shop, and then the Wi-Fi is brand new. You should have all just gotten an email because I got here. I remember, so you all just got Wi-Fi keys, so you can.
I was gonna ask you about that afterwards.
Arrowhive.
Right, Arrowhive. So you just got an email from Arrowhive with your key on it. So that's for getting on the staff Wi-Fi. Because Arrowhive now, we have one less server officially, was turned off today. So we have one less server in our server rack because Arrowhive is now completely up to the cloud. So that's managed completely from the cloud now. And let's see, yeah, the move is over. They talked about the room. The move is over at West, and just keep it in front of us. So yeah, I think we're up to date on that list that I gave you. Although we might be a little further along. So,
But teacher and administrator computers?
so
I see a lot of Macs sitting here.
yep,
Just curious.
yeah. So the plan, so those
No pressure.
So the plan that happened, the plan was when we put that order in the day after, on January 20th, they fumbled the football basically, and basically didn't get their order through their Premier site that they set up for us. It basically didn't go through for almost 2 weeks, and so they originally gave us a date of all those being delivered on the 20th. Now I screamed pretty hard about it, but we had to make a plan of them showing on the 20th. So the plan was, just with everything else, we were just going to have those ready on the 28th. I screamed loud enough, they actually overnighted them. So they got here at the end of last week. And so I was at least able to get 12 ready for the new teachers, and we'll have them ready for everybody. I think we're still going to do it for the middle school teachers. John and I kind of came up with that plan of we're still going to start the year off, not try to change anything right now. And that first Wednesday on the 28th, I'll come to both the morning meeting and the afternoon meeting and hand out the middle school Chromebooks, kind of introduce it to them, doing the basics. They'll keep both computers for a week, and then they'll turn on, the plan right now is they'll turn in their MacBooks on the 4th. And then over that week, that Memorial Week, that's my plan to make sure that the rest of the ones go out to the admin.
Any comments from the 12 new teachers on not having a MacBook versus
I didn't get that much.
They're still new yet.
They're still new,
Everything
yeah.
is, yeah.
Nothing but the basics. I've got a couple emails.
How do I turn this on?
Yeah. No.
The only questions I've gotten was how to print, and
Yeah, and we're working on that. That's the timeline right now. I'm working this afternoon. I spent a lot of time with our print server, and so that stuff should be. My hope was to have that solved by Monday. So I'll be in through most of the weekend. We have a wedding on Saturday that I have to go to.
And it'll be a transition year. I mean, there's gonna be some things as we go along through the year of helping them out, and what can we do, what can't we do, what things do we need to do some training on, and different things. But it's kinda nice having The new staff have them right now because we're starting to learn some things before we hand them out to all the staff. So
Yeah, we'll hit road bumps, but
if the kids have them, I think it's good practice that teachers are using the same thing too. So it's a nice machine.
So what's the next major thing as far as technology goes? What's the next?
so basically I'm going to follow the plan that we kind of presented to you guys.
Yep.
So starting late this fall, I'm going to start to have conversations with Mr. Miller, Mr. Allison, and the 2nd through 4th grade teams, or sorry, 2nd through 5th grade teams. And we're basically I'm planning on starting to meet with them pretty consistently, November, December, and then by my timetable is by February, March, I'll have to you guys, that's my goal, is to have to you guys exactly what we're ordering July 1.
Thank you.
I don't think I have a lot of terms on there. I'm really excited about staffing. I got the best staffing I've ever had. Other schools are frustrated with staffing, and for whatever reason, I had good last year, but I have even better this year, and I've hired some new employees. Routes are coming along very well. Everything is pretty well in concrete. I'm still working on some midday preschool routes, kind of putting my final pieces to that. Minor frustration, the minivan that we got approved to, they told me it was on the lot when I talked to them, and then when I ordered it, they said it's on a train on the way here, so it could be another week or two before we get it, but I'm fine. I got vehicles that I can get kids to school in, even if it doesn't come for a couple of weeks. The bus, we knew it was gonna be late coming in because of the government grant that we got, and we shut down the government in January, which backed up everything, but the bus is, the salesman was in this week and said it should be at Waterloo yet this week, and we should have it maybe even before school starts, but even if it's a day or two late, I'm good with that. I've asked all the salesmen to go out and find me another used bus, and we've asked them all several times over the summer, and we've not got a lot of response of buses that I would like to take a look at. I'd like to take a look at two buses, one like a small bus, and what that's for is because we got these midday routes, I'll be sending a large bus out for 12 students, and it would be a lot more efficient if we had another small bus, and I'm trying to find one. Most of the salesmen are telling me that any schools that trade them in, they're pretty much junk and you don't want them. And I don't have enough in my budget for a new one. So, but they're looking, and we'll take a look at it and see what they got. And then I just want another mid-sized bus, really of any size, just to replace the bus that we had to trade in on the government grant, just as a spare. But for fall, I'm pretty good for spares. Spring, I'll need that bus by come spring. Winter, I'm really good. It's nice that the sports spread out their middle school schedule from November, December through it, and a January, February deal. They did that a couple years ago. That really makes transportation people happy. That's all I got.
Have you ever thought about telematics or anything like that, as far as on our vehicles, driving habits of our bus drivers or anything like that?
I have not looked into that too seriously, but that would.
I'm just throwing it out.
I think,
not that it's an issue
I think
or
all
anything.
schools will have that eventually.
Okay. Yeah, I was just throwing it out there. If these new buses are equipped with that or any way, shape, or form, or.
Well, is that kind of what you noted here on the, with the minivan? That,
Yes, the minivans do have cameras in them, and they have the GPSs in them. And if you pull it up and go halfway through the route or something and click on it, on your computer, it pulls up the map and shows you exactly where they are anytime they're on the route. It's pretty cool, and it's got very good, like Scott was talking about, our security cameras that he's installing on these, are excellent high definition cameras that it picks up the, what's going on inside the van. It's inside and forward looking as well.
I think maybe at some point we'll also have some kind of ID scanner when you get on the bus. You have to do your little barcode on the bus so that we can track who's on the bus. And more districts are going towards that too. I see that coming our way at some point.
Like who, like the driver?
No, students. So we get back to never losing a student.
Okay. All right, thank you, everybody. So, June and Corey and Seth, any kind of echo case comments earlier? Anything that you've seen that is kind of shocking or something you change right away or anything like that, or is it all just kind of status quo? Or are you just still trying to get your feet wet?
Mostly that. We're looking at the master schedule to try to make sure that we maximize our intervention and special education resources and time. We have our 2 academic interventionists, and looking at the previous schedules, the grade levels kind of picked and chose what they wanted to do when they wanted to do it, and when they wanted to have recess and things of that nature. So we're trying to build a new one where we can get those interventionists into every reading block, the vast majority of math blocks, so that we can really help those students that need the most supports. Because it was just running into young elementary kids, you always want to do everything in the morning, right? You want reading in the morning and math in the morning because that's when kids are the most ready to rock and least tired. So it's that's one thing that we're trying to fix so that we could really maximize those teachers' expertise and really get to those kids that need it the most. On top of, we had recess and there were like 3 grade levels outside at one time, so that's like 300 and some kids. So that's a lot. So we're trying to break those up as well. Just so those pieces.
I think one thing for me that's going to be a change is master schedule as well, that our teacher teams don't have the same common planning time. So hopefully this year we're going to put together a coalition committee and kind of look at how we can work on getting more of our teachers the same planning prep time. In my building last year, the last few years, that's what our teams had, and that was really beneficial for those teams to work together throughout the day and have those same prep times. So we have a couple of our departments that have just kind of by chance have the same planning time, but I'd like that to look more, I guess, in unison all the way through the master schedule. So it's kind of a major piece of work that we have to work on this year.
Okay, great. Jude? Thank you. Again, welcome. New business. Handbooks. High school handbook.
There was nothing major.
Yeah, we didn't have any major changes. Rob and I started looking at it really just a couple weeks ago, and there's a couple things attendance-wise, just some verbiage is a little bit confusing in there that throughout this year we're going to look at and maybe make a recommendation next summer, but nothing really major sticks out. So.
Elementary handbooks?
Nothing major. I think Sharon does a nice job with that. We're changing parents, and we had received guidance a couple years ago that instead of using the term parents or guardians, we use families. So updating some of that verbiage throughout. We updated some times. We're still not sure why, but we had 2 different start times between West and Central. Those are now consistent. But it's is a goal of mine to have our, I know Mrs. Mills talked to this before too, is to have our leadership teams at the elementary really walk through our handbook and really take a hard look at what we have in there and making sure that it's all necessary, that it's in there. So our work at our building leadership team would be to look at that and review the contents of it, because it's my hopes that we can give it an overhaul, make it more user-friendly for families.
Yeah, no question. In the document you guys give us, there's the changes to elementary handbook 1920, that file.
Yeah.
So in the arrival section, it's on page 2 under arrival.
says in there, so after entering Central, students go directly to their classrooms unless they're having breakfast. So everybody's dropped off regardless of time, they go straight to their classroom.
So at Central, all the, 80, I don't have the exact percentage, but I would guess probably close to 90% of our students are on a bus. And so the buses come in, and then Dr. Mart or Deputy Blaylock at 8, if the students come in, secondary students get off. At 8:10, there's what we call the breakfast tone or bell. So breakfast students can get off at 8:10. And then at 8:15, there's a tone that comes over the building, but then Dr. Martyr, Deputy Blaylock will say elementary students can off the bus, so at 8:15, then everybody comes in.
Okay, so all the bus guys, they all sit on the bus?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
the middle school, they give us time to know the buses in, the middle school kids out, high school kids out of the way, and then dismiss elementary.
Gotcha,
It works, hopefully this is what, it works pretty good.
It really works.
I just, when it was explained to me in my first year, but then once you see it in action, it's just like, wow. I tell them multiple times a year how slick that is. It's really a great process. Ideally, our students wouldn't have to wait on the bus. They could come right in, but we're like, it works pretty good.
I'm not saying that's a great idea
Yeah.
either. That's why I was just wondering why,
Yeah.
you know, because again, the way that it's written, I guess, so for then those group of students that are dropped off, so then I guess I just haven't seen how that morning goes.
So if you when you come in the next time, it kind of goes off to the right towards the transportation compound now with all the gates, and it winds around and it's a pretty solid traffic flow. And then kids can either, if it's nice enough outside, they wait outside, but if it's inclement weather, they step into the front hallway. It's kind of a compound over there.
Change Mike's title of warden.
Nobody can get in. Nobody's talking
Yeah.
about it. All right, do you have a motion to approve the handbooks?
So
Second. Dave, all in favor?
Aye.
Item B, board policy review updates and deletion.
So last time we reviewed all the 400 policies and approved that review. These are the ones ISB has deleted or moved elsewhere, so I made that list there and where they were moved to. Any questions on those? And then item number 2, that was the second reading, that employee cell phone use, which was a new policy moved in from ISB, so it'll be second and final. Item number 3 is a review of 600 with, there was one policy, it looked like it was wiped out. The new stuff I put in there, that's all legal stuff, so that one simply is a review too. The one I put down here, foreign exchange, not always have those two organizations that were in our board policy have people exchange students forced to use, so we tried other agencies and they've all worked, so I'm fine with letting any organized group and I'll put in there. I'm not sure we need to have 2 readings on that because it really went back to more general and whatever, so you have the right to waive that second and final reading on that one, just put it in place.
All right, so we do this one at a time, right?
You can, or you can do them all if there's no changes.
Do I have a motion to approve the board policies?
So moved.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item C, disposal of equipment. Items that are deemed of value will be sold on gov deals. Those non-value or not sold on gov deals we dispose of. Dishwasher, cooler, and uniforms, and 47 lockers.
Just curious, are the band uniforms of no value?
No, there'll be people that buy them, I think.
Well,
See, when we put them on
And
sale.
as trivial as it
Yeah,
sounds,
but-
when my kids were in daycare, the daycare had some band uniforms, and
Oh, like, yeah.
the kids loved them. The little kids, they march around in the hats and coats.
Sure. And then also you have.
Well, we've had a sale here before, right? Where we sell sports equipment, old jerseys, things like
On
that.
the table out there, yeah. So there could be some theater production companies that'll buy stuff like this too, or we donate them to that. Yeah.
I want to see you in a band.
Smaller bands like to buy this, especially small town, like they'll get all matching, and so they'll actually pay pretty decent because there's still a lot of them are still in pretty good shape. So they'll get a good second life.
Good.
But meaning that if we don't sell those, would be something I would set out of the
Right.
ball game for people to pick up and take home. Yeah, for, trash.
Okay.
There's a motion to approve disposal of equipment.
We approve disposable of equipment.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
One, I guess I want to kind of go back to the board policies. That's kind of like the nuts and bolts, basically the core of what we do. And how is that aligned with our goals and mission and all that? Are we meshing those? Because I think that's, we'll get into this in the
Yeah, I
second
think
work
when you
session.
think of board policy, there's a couple policies for commission, most of them are management
Mhm.
of stuff.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, okay. Set some September work session date.
And we're also gonna call it a possible special session and work session in case we need to talk about real estate.
Okay.
Yeah. So either one of those same day.
Everybody got
We looking at the first week of September.
So what our regular scheduled meeting is the 19th?
Yep.
Pardon?
So Dan votes for Monday.
So what, again, I'd like to have the financial advisor here as well as OPM here to discuss.
Yeah, so, and then I also wanted, where are we at with the special ed consulting?
Where she's, yeah, so I have that meeting with her today, Monday, so I assume she's wrapping up.
That's gonna be heavy though.
Yeah,
And-
Yeah.
I think by September she'll be ready. 'Cause
But
all
I'm
I
thinking
do
if we
is-
throw it, we have OPM, and then let's see, what was the,
The financial advisor, the bonding, financial.
We need to know timelines on when we can. What we could do for the special ed one, if we could have like an hour work session on the 19th, do it at like 5.
Can we make that work? And just-
Yep.
So you wanna go, what night here for the other two? Or the other
one.
One OPN and PDFM.
We two, we've been doing it 2 weeks prior, right? So that would be the 5th. Or, I'd like to do it on, maybe on Wednesday, because we're starting to get into sports houses.
Do Wednesday the 4th?
So you don't have to go on my schedule, I don't care. Wednesday the 4th?
Is the fourth time?
Six or 6:30?
6:30? 6:30?
Which, you know, if it's normally 6, we'll go 6, but kind of early. So 6.
6 on the 4th?
Here or at West?
You guys tell me.
West might be.
Who's gonna be there?
I'll have the architect and then also our financial advisor.
We've got problem with space in West. We're gonna, they're probably gonna put something up on the screen, so
Here?
it's important to spread better.
Okay.
6 on the 4th?
Yep.
And then we're gonna plan on 5 o'clock on 19th.
I can throw that out. Yeah, I guess that'd be
Unless it's different.
that'd be the only caveat there, so sure, I can make that work. So at least we're a month in advance, we'll finish it.
So 5 p.m. on the 19th, right? How do you pronounce it last name? Ben Shaw? Ben Shaw?
Yeah.
So you have a motion to approve that, right?
Yes.
Okay, I have a motion to approve the September work session date.
I would, but I don't know what,
I think you just did.
Second.
All you gotta do is say, so moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
5-0. Boundary matter legal representation.
Okay. So this is a little confusing, but I'll try to explain the best I could until we got there.
So basically, they can tell anybody anything that involves any of us.
That's what how it read.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
But not that we're necessarily gonna get into a legal proceeding against other districts, but
No, ours is so minor, it's not a big deal. So what we are approving is that the county has hired Allers and Cooney, Allers Law Firm, to go through and verify what's being taxed versus is that what the legal description of the school district is. And guess what, there isn't anything correct. No school district, the legal description is correct. And that's county, haven't had to do that before in a merger situation, but it took me hours, and attorney hours to read through that legal. So if you look at the map, I think what we're talking about is somewhere up to here. What section does that say, Joe?
It would be section
28. 28, so there's
21.
21. Yep, it's somewhere in here. So that's the nursing program. So there's on one map, there's a line that runs at an angle. If I would draw like a section, I think if I draw it like this is the section boundary, but our property line, or our taxing authority goes like this. So the issue is they're gonna wanna try and come back with this.
If they pay our water tower.
If they pay the water tower, what'll happen?
The taxable will square off with the section line instead of cut through property line. So fortunately, when Beth was talking, there are several places in Des Moines where the property is like this. The house sits here, and here's the taxing line. The backyard's one district, and the house sits in another. So they're trying to get all that kind of stuff. Squared up. So what we're approving is that we understand that Allers represents the whole.
Is there
group.
2 areas, though? Did I see that there's 2
No,
areas?
it's the same one as you said.
So it's this area.
Yeah, right there.
So that's the
So,
second boat.
so the way it is, so I don't understand where it is. So this is how it is now. That is our boundary, we're saying, we're fine with it.
Yeah, because
Become
we
a
have,
square.
we've never collected tax on that piece, it always given to that.
My neighbor.
So that's where the taxing authority and the legal descriptions are now vice versa. To only have one, I was very pleasantly surprised.
What about that piece, the government parcel piece of, is this an issue?
She didn't bring that one up, only this little piece right here. The government, the government one, she just said because it's the government, you're not gonna win that anyway. But okay, we'll focus on the other ones.
Put out your surrender flag
Yeah,
now.
this would be done. On that one.
But this document though, so they're having us sign this, because they are saying that the representative manager, they, but this is just in general, I was just, when I read this document, I didn't realize the correlation with the issue we're dealing with here, but this was, it seems, I don't know what's interesting is that since they represent us, they represent whatever districts, you know, they're gonna share any and all information across all clients as a, for any matter that would be potentially related to any of them, and so it's, but again, the likelihood would be, I'm assuming extremely low, but it seems like a weird agreement to have with your legal counsel that, yeah, by the way, we represent your neighbor, and if you get to squabble, well.
We don't do that with private clients. So why is it different with?
I don't know, it seems strange. I was just surprised. So, I mean, can you ask them that the next time we talk to them? Be like, this seems odd, why, if we were seriously in some, I don't know, I have a scenario that it would apply to, but.
Well, again, it's only referring to this work.
Yeah, but again, this document is not specific to, this is just a general form that, I mean, this isn't situation specific. Well, I guess they do.
Yeah,
have
it
it
is,
up there at the top.
it says right there, book kind
Yeah.
it's specific to this.
But all the text is very generic. I mean, I'm sure this would, no matter what the issue was, it would say that up there. I mean, if we were being sued by Urbandale for something, I don't know, it just seems like this is a weird arrangement. I don't know, it just seems, because again, I mean, I don't know what the scenario would be.
Maybe if we can just clarify if it's for this particular arrangement, or is that just their policy overall?
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because but again, this letter is clearly a canned letter.
Yeah.
And they just address they changed the situation, but again, if it was whatever, Urbandale and us getting some sort of legal dispute, and we're both represented by these guys.
Then you're also gonna get your own legal counsel.
Well, yeah, but
just how it works.
But any information that these guys would have from us as a client, they're gonna be obligated to share with Urbandale and anything from us, them with us. It just seems like a strange.
It says there, if there's conflict, we must decline to advise any party So it's like they're bowing out of all of it.
Probably to act as legal counsel, but in the supporting conversations, I would assume that any information they would already have, they'd be obligated to share both ways. I don't know. And again, this is like a super hypothetical, but it seems. Go ahead.
I'm not gonna go on the record, but that would break attorney-client privilege.
Well, I'm not, when you read this letter,
But
it doesn't matter.
you're not waiting all
I
that.
think
Because we're not gonna have-
passion over something that's,
Agreed. And it just, it was
I'm gonna win the lottery first, probably.
Yeah.
All right, do I have a,
Is that camera on?
is it? All right, do I have a motion to approve the boundary matter legal representation?
So moved.
second.
Any, all in favor? Okay, any board updates?
So, can I go back to something that was in the Dropbox? Was that wire transfer services
I
agreement?
took that back out because we're waiting until we have a payroll person.
Okay, and that was my question. So, with the wire, is that about the only time we're doing the wire? Is our payroll?
Payroll. And we've done it forever. This is also new phone, we're waiting a lot. So we'll wait till we have a person. We have, the business manager from PCM resigned to work with her husband, do some accounting. She was from Cali, so she has a good volunteer to come up, and she's been here yesterday, coming in tomorrow to help us during this transition time, so that's been helpful.
Okay.
Keep things rolling.
Anything else? Howard, any other questions?
I take it the potential expulsion item was resolved, or?
Oh, no, we're not. He has finished his work, now it comes to me.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Welcome.
And then, so the update on hiring for the district office, business manager and Gail,
Yeah, so we have applicants for payroll, wasn't very strong either, so I don't know, Scott said above using a temp, so I'm looking at all avenues there. We had 12 applicants for that one, not really 2 or 3 with experience, one already took a job. We have another one coming in on Monday to interview.
We're at with Callie, or Lisa's replacement.
She's, she's continuing to do it. She would be my recommendation to make permanent, but I have to get some details from her, and then also, she wants to have a conversation with the board at some point too, of how flexible are you guys comfortable with in her situation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She would be my recommendation, too.
for the payroll,
Yeah.
is a third party an option? Is,
I think it's always an option.
so,
You have a
I'm
recommendation
I mean,
there.
ADP is huge. I'm curious,
Ariana.
do they
Ariana, the third
serve
party payroll staff.
small school districts? I'm assuming they probably, ADP.
Is the AEA have any recommendations? Is there any?
Well, in my former AEA, they actually would do it, they would come and help, they would do it for you. This AEA hasn't offered that service yet, but that's exactly where I thought too. Great if AEA's got, they got enough people.
Well, but or they have recommendations or relationships with other companies like, you know, I mean, again, if there's something that's, somebody's already blazed the trail with a third party per vendor, third party vendor, I would rather utilize that than try to educate a.
I'd rather outsource payroll.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would, I mean.
And it's actually
And
fairly
I think
cheap.
people might appreciate it too, just there's a better feeling of confidentiality too.
So other firms?
I think
ADP
Ariana,
would do a lot.
Ariana?
I think Ariana does, AUR.
AUR,
here in Des Moines, don't they?
AUE, they're big.
Yeah, well, they're big, yeah, I mean, their customers probably big.
Yeah, and it's really convenient because you can go online, check all your statements, change all your tax withholdings and everything right
Yeah.
online. So you can fill out a piece of paper and all that.
Yeah, if you wanna change your direct deposits, you wanna change anything, just write
But I
it
mean,
online.
that'd be a pretty quick cost benefit analysis on what
Thank you.
but again, there may be other districts that have transitioned to that, that
I'll ask.
might leverage anybody.
Yes, that's true. Something about the Metro Super Group, let's see. That's good.
We all set for RDTV and all that?
I haven't been on any meetings of that. I had a meeting this week more with the mayor, John Calhoun, who's the city maintenance guy, Jerry Blank. Randy, thank you, Randy.
Or Mike.
And then, yeah, Randy Schultz will be, about homecoming parade, we started that conversation this year, yeah.
You've already had that meeting, or you're going to
Yeah,
have that?
we did that already this week, yeah.
What's the concept of the homecoming parade?
I'll start from west and go down to the square.
What would be in the parade?
Floats.
Floats, exactly, floats.
And a band.
So next question, who's building the floats? Where are you building the floats?
Yeah, we
Who's
got
paying
all
for the
that.
floats?
And then you gotta have, you know, some convertibles, and you gotta put
There
your
you go.
homecoming king and queen and the candidates on it.
Believe me, parades are not just as simple as, let's have a parade.
I grew up
Board
in a
members?
town that had a parade.
I did too.
Have we ever looked at our staffing patterns, or is there any type of studies out there that, I don't know, the AA or the Iowa School Board Association has to make sure that we're adequately staffed?
Comparison? Yes. So school board does have that information, yeah. So
Okay.
I can pull it, go in the database and pull it out. Yeah. What are you looking for?
No, I'm
Joel?
just
I can-
looking just in general, if we are properly staffed in this area, or we overly staffed in this area, just to try to.
Yeah, send me the areas you, what we curious of, and I'll see if I can go in there and it'll show you like the 10 up and 10 down, size wise compared to us.
Oh, yeah.
You guys have that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You guys should have.
Hey, you're dismissed.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Forecast 5, isn't it?
Good luck next week.
Yeah. Awesome.
Whatever your information.
Yeah, I'm just curious to see how we compare to maybe even, well, shoot, even Carlisle, if we're overly staffed, or.
What's that next week?
What's that? Are we too? See in the morning. Overstaffed, understaffed?
Well, we had a lot more kids there.
Uh-huh.
We had 154 kids in high school, so my initial reaction is it's right on.
Okay, right, okay.
I looked at the enrollment numbers.
Thanks, guys.
1,900 this year. We served over 1,900 this year. Yeah, last year, about 1,800 this year.
Put an RSP projected this year.
I'm curious. I'll look some, I always do a comparison of what it is versus what they predict.
Again, welcome aboard, Corey.
Thanks, Michelle.
Yeah.
when I started, we were 12,
Anything else? We're 1,200. Yeah.
I feel like I had something else I wanted to tell you all, but completely drawn a blank here.
So OPM gave us a contract, I sent it to our attorney to review.
Yeah,
She just got that back.
She
and
marked it up.
She marked it up, didn't she? So I sent it to Keith, and you go through it, I haven't had time, I'll go through it.
Well, I was gonna review it first, and then I think, no, I'm just gonna wait, because I had too much of a slanted view, but I couldn't believe how many red lines there were in things.
I also had to review that Pepsi agreement, and the first thing she said, are you really sure you want a 5-year? So how much time do you want me to spend on that?
I thought we approved.
We approved it, and I had to go through just any language we want to make sure we, want to be careful of. First,
Well, are they gonna have an issue if we come back and?
It hasn't been sent to them. It hasn't been sent, so
so we could bring it back up.
we could bring it back up. She said that's my first recommendation to all schools in Pepsi and Coke is, do you want a 5-year, you want a 1-year that rolls over after a certain time, kind of thing.
Auto renew.
Auto renew unless you notify.
But then they'll cut back there and send it.
I would think so, but,
Yeah. When Rob pitched it to us, I mean, it seemed like
he's
Based-
not worried about the 5.
but based on the spend, or based on the consumption rates, based on what people buy, I mean,
Yeah.
is there a major, I guess the question would be, all of a sudden, is there some dramatic shift in preference in the next 5 years, which could be, but I don't know, I guess we can see what they thought of a 3 instead of a 5, just, hey, we're a growing district, we got a lot of potential changes, we don't feel comfortable signing ourselves up for a 5-year obligation.
If you're fine, I don't want to spend a lot of time this far.
Just ask them how much it changes between 3 and 5.
You go back.
We'll sign it at 5, we'll sign it at 3. Okay. Or just redline it to 3 and send it to them, sign it.
And that demographic study's out on our website now, right?
Yes, it is, just put that on there.
Yep, perfect. All right.
Yes.
All right.
Any rumblings of anybody running for the board yet?
I was gonna ask you all that.
I haven't heard anything.
Well, I have just putting something together so people know too.
I saw the dates.
Yeah, I put that through so that you guys knew.
Actually, I don't know anybody that's running.
I plan on running for the 2-year term.
So Joe, that's off the table.
Why?
That'd be interesting.
Why not 4?
No, two's good. I can always just do 2 and then 4 more. We'll see.
So it has to be in by our next board meeting.
That day, you know, but that would be one thing that came up in ISB's priorities of trying to change it from 4 to 3 again. 4 years is a long.
It is.
It's a long commitment.
Yes.
Sure as hell is.
It is a long
So
commitment.
it's 13.
Go back to 3.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Am I the longest term serving board member?
All in favor?
Ever?
Aye.
Aye.
No, I think.
You and Father